Hello, and welcome to Writing Assignments, What Students and Faculty Should Expect, one of the SLCC Writing Across the College Transforming Talk videos. These videos take an in-depth look at fundamental issues in writing instruction at SLCC. They can be watched individually or can provide the basis for deep conversations about how we use writing pedagogies to foster student success. This Transforming Talk discusses the history, purpose, and application of the document, Writing Assignments, What Students and Faculty Should Expect. This collaboratively developed document was endorsed by the Faculty Senate and the Student Senate and Executive Council in spring 2016. Awareness and understanding of this document can help you to improve writing assignments and student writing in your classes. During the 2014-2015 academic year, which was the first year of operation for the Writing Across the College program, our primary objective was to assess the state of writing at SLCC. This meant taking an inventory and conducting a climate assessment of how students, faculty, staff, and administrators interacted with their own and others' writing and how they felt about it. Several priorities for the WAC program developed from this assessment, one of which was to address the asymmetrical expectations that existed between students and faculty in regards to writing assignments. These conflicting expectations centered on issues of preparedness, transparency, criteria, evaluation, and more. Their existence contributed to enduring frustration, insecurity, resentment, and apathy for both students and faculty. These sentiments are so pervasive that they are generally accepted as the norm for higher education at SLCC and across the country, even though they most certainly do not contribute to successful or empowering learning experiences, nor to satisfying and sustainable teaching practices. The Writing Across the College program believed that making efforts towards small changes in the relationship between students and faculty in regards to writing assignments might be able to positively impact the climate of frustration and distrust that the asymmetrical expectations perpetuated. If it were possible to gain agreement from faculty and students regarding the basic expectations for writing assignments, it might just create a pathway for more successful writing and learning experiences for both. One approach that other writing programs have taken to this problem, because the problem certainly exists elsewhere, is to release a statement to faculty of best practices or support materials explaining what students expect from their writing assignments. But this overlooks the fact that writing assignments are not simply documents that move from faculty to students. They are conversations initiated by faculty and responded to by students, and then responded to again by faculty in evaluation. The stakeholders in a writing assignment are both faculty and students, and both have valid expectations of the other. Therefore, if this document were to work, it needed to be collaborative. It needed to have the voices of both student and faculty groups. To start, in the fall of 2015, the WAC program presented the idea of such a document, which was originally imagined as a Bill of Rights, to the faculty and student senates. With strong support from both, the program was advised by the Faculty Senate to survey faculty and students about their expectations for writing assignments. A survey of 35 statements was drafted and sent out to all faculty and to students through student leadership. These statements included things like, students have a right to know why they are doing an assignment, or faculty have a right to assign challenging writing assignments and have high expectations of their students. When the results were in, the data was analyzed for levels of agreement within each group, faculty and students, and in between the two groups. The data showed that the students tended to share more expectations for writing assignments amongst themselves, with more than 90% agreeing on 25 of the 35 statements, while faculty diverged more from each other as a group, with more than 90% agreeing on only 14 statements. The data also confirmed the WAC Climate Survey's findings that students and faculty really do have different expectations for writing assignments. The two groups demonstrated more than a 10% difference of agreement on 20 of the 35 statements. Of the other 15, only 10 had less than a 5% difference. The WAC program decided to draft a document starting with the 12 statements that had received at least 90% agreement by both students and faculty and had less than 10% difference between the two groups. The Faculty Senate responded with concern to the document, worried that it would limit teaching practices or add to an already demanding faculty evaluation process. The Student Senate supported the document, but wanted to add an additional expectation that had not been proposed in the survey. The WAC program took all this feedback and revised the document. Upon revision, both the Faculty and Student Senates and the Student Executive Council strongly endorsed the document, now entitled Writing Assignments: What Students and Faculty Should Expect. Together, dozens of faculty and students had agreed on what the basic expectations should be for writing assignments. So what are those expectations and what do they mean? First, it's important to understand the preface, or the introduction to the expectations, as it sets the stage for a shared and supportive learning and teaching experience for both students and faculty. At Salt Lake Community College, students and faculty are partners working to build transformative educational experiences. Together, students and faculty create spaces of learning through activities, experiences, and assignments. Together, the opportunity for learning thrives. When we feel opposed or antagonistic toward each other, the potential for learning suffers. Such opposition may be felt by students and by faculty when we engage with writing assignments. This may be due to differing expectations that students and faculty have of each other and of themselves regarding such assignments. This document has been created to provide a path towards shared expectations for writing assignments for all SLCC students and faculty. These expectations, which have been endorsed by the SLCC Faculty Senate, SLCC Student Senate, and SLCC Student Executive Council, build from SLCC's commitment to working together as partners in teaching and learning towards successful learning experiences for everyone. This document and these statements have been endorsed to break through the tensions and walls that asymmetrical expectations have erected. It asks us to look at how our teaching methods can contribute to open and successful learning. With that, on to the expectations, along with their percentages of agreement for both groups. Please note that some of the final expectations are very slightly revised from the original statements. Expectation number 1. Students and faculty should expect that different readers often have different interpretations of the same piece of writing. This is the most foundational expectation, upon which all the others rest, and is something that all writers, including faculty who create assignments and the students who write in response to them, need to fully embrace. Doing so helps students to understand why one faculty member may love their writing while another really doesn't. It also helps faculty to remain patient when some students grasp an assignment while others don't. In both cases, it opens a door for conversation about the assignment in order to clarify, support, and help each other understand. Expectation number 2. Students should expect that they will be made aware of writing support services at SLCC. Salt Lake Community College has so many support services for students, including several that can assist them with their writing assignments. One of the problems, however, is making sure students know about them. Even if they know that such services exist, and even if they are told about them in their student orientations, which provides lots of information over a very short period of time, and even if they've heard about the services from one of their instructors at some point in time, hearing about them from each instructor in a positive and supporting manner will go a long way in encouraging students to take advantage of this support. For information on writing support services, please watch the WAC mini video, My Students Need Help. Expectation number 3. Faculty should expect that students will take writing assignments seriously and put significant effort into them. This seems a no-brainer, especially from a faculty standpoint, but sometimes negative experiences, apathy, or disengagement convinces students that they don't need to make effort on their writing. This leads to resentment on the part of faculty, of course, who are working very hard to do their best for students. Students need to know that faculty respect students who try their best. Expectation number 4. Students should expect that faculty will provide them with a written document that describes a writing assignment and how it relates to course concepts and learning outcomes. Some, or perhaps many faculty already provide students with a writing assignment, either in hard copy or on Canvas, and that's great. Having an actual assignment to read, reread, refer to, and review while working on the assignment is a key resource for success. It is even better if that assignment is not buried in a syllabus distributed at the beginning of the semester. Even though we wish that students would embrace the syllabus as much as we enjoyed producing it, many times syllabi are transitory documents and the information within them is forgotten. To help our students succeed, we can take the time to create a separate assignment and make a world of difference. For suggestions on the basic elements of a strong assignment, please watch The Nitty-Gritty of Writing Assignments, another WAC mini video. Expectation number 5. Faculty should expect that students will read writing assignments closely and make every attempt to understand what they are asking of them. There's not much more frustrating to a teacher than having to answer questions about something which you just explained or just provided to your students. When the assignment due date is on the assignment and a student pipes up, "When is this due?" it smacks of disengagement, entitlement, and disrespect. Students need to do their part in the writing assignment conversation. What can you do if students don't meet this, however? Obviously, you can snap, "It's in the assignment," but that might erect barriers between students and faculty. Perhaps providing students with a bookmark that contains these writing assignment expectations could be useful. You can find downloadable bookmarks on the WAC website. Instructions will be provided on how to do this at the end of the video. Also, consider making time to talk to students about writing assignments, as described in the WAC mini video, talking to students about writing assignments. Expectation 6. Students should expect that faculty will communicate how assignments will be evaluated and will evaluate assignments according to the stated criteria. This expectation is very important and can go a long way towards building trust between students and faculty. One of the loudest complaints from students that was heard during this project was that either evaluative criteria was vague or that if it was presented, evaluations were made on other, seemingly invisible criteria that had not been. Even though it's very important, successfully doing this is challenging for faculty for a variety of reasons. First, often it's hard to know how to articulate criteria if you're not sure of what to evaluate. Second, even if you know what you want to evaluate, you might not know how to do it well. Third, writing is difficult to evaluate, period. Perhaps you put together a rubric, and while the student's writing may have met the criteria on the rubric, it's still not quite right. It can be very difficult to assign a high evaluation based on a rubric when the writing doesn't feel like it is of the highest quality. Evaluating writing will never be easy. There are strategies to help, however, which can be found in the WAC mini video, The Nitty-Gritty of Writing Assignments. Still, the most important consideration is to be aware of what you told students to expect and do your best to stick with that. If you do have to diverge from it, be transparent about it and communicate with your students why you did. Expectation number 7. Faculty should expect that students will ask questions about writing assignments if they are unsure of the requirements or evaluative criteria. This expectation puts the responsibility on students to communicate with their instructors. If we don't know what questions students have, how can we possibly address them? It's an important skill for students to develop, but more often than not, students sit in silence. We can encourage students to ask questions by following the strategies in talking to students about writing assignments. The resources in that mini video can also help with the next expectation, which received the highest agreement of all the statements together. Students should expect that faculty will answer their questions about writing assignments. Of course we should answer the questions, and if we don't know the answers, we need to find them out. Expectation number 9. Students should expect advance notice of lengthy writing assignments. This expectation was the one added by the Student Senate. Many students shared the experience of having assignments sprung on them without warning. What is most likely happening is that the assignments are noted in the syllabus and then not returned to by the instructor as the due date approaches, or only just before it's due. This is one of the reasons creating a distinct writing assignment is very helpful. It reminds students of the assignment and encourages the faculty member to dedicate specific attention to it. And finally, the last expectation. Students should expect that faculty will provide rationale or feedback for an assignment's evaluation. This relates closely to the 6th criteria and, as noted before, is the basis for much negativity regarding writing assignments for students. Students want to know why they earned a particular evaluation, regardless of whether that evaluation was strong or not. This expectation does put the burden on faculty because evaluating writing takes time. But it doesn't need to take a lot of time, especially if the evaluative criteria is established up front. If you don't want to spend hours evaluating, then select just a few elements of the writing that you will look at and then stick to them. Use a rubric if they work for you. Write a short note. Anything to indicate why you assigned the grade that you did. Sometimes we can feel like students don't read their evaluations, and that can be frustrating, to put all that work into it and then have it ignored. If you are feeling this way, then just leave a note saying you'd be happy to talk with the student about the evaluation if they want feedback. The point is, students should be able to treat writing assignments as learning experiences, and in order to learn, feedback should be made available. That's it. Those are the expectations that students and faculty should be able to share regarding writing assignments. And that's all they are, expectations. The document isn't binding, nor should it be used for evaluative purposes for faculty or students. Its intention is to open up communication between students and faculty and to improve the experiences that both have with writing assignments. With time and with patience, following this document should create more symmetrical expectations, and with that, a more positive learning and teaching experience. If you wish to share this document with your students, there are downloadable bookmarks on the Writing Across the College website at www.slcc.edu/WAC. Click on the faculty portal and then on Writing Assignments, What Students and Faculty Should Expect. Then click on the image to download the file. If you or your department are interested in looking more closely at how to support students writing in your classes, consider registering for other videos and workshops through the Office of Faculty Development or contact the Writing Across the College Director at wac@slcc.edu, call extension 3232, or check out the website at www.slcc.edu/WAC.